Okay. So basically, we have discussed yesterday about organizing, and the definition of organizing is the process of defining and grouping activities and establishing authority relationships among them to attain organizational objectives, right? So there are 5 important aspects of organizing. So we also discussed about this, if you remember. The first one is work specialization, or as just now we spoke, it's a division of work, okay, as per the specialization. Then authority, so you have to give the authority for the person so that he can get the things done. Also you have to mention with whom the authority is lying, okay, and so accordingly you have to make your organization structure. Chain of command, it is the same as we have discussed, scalar chain, okay, or the hierarchy of authorities. Whom you are supposed to report, whom you are supposed to take instructions, okay, whom you are supposed to give orders, okay. So that is what is mentioned through the chain of command, or the scalar chain, or the hierarchy of the authority. Now with this, what happens? There is a clarity in communication, okay. As there is clarity in communication instructions, there is less scope for confusion, or you can say misunderstanding, and then you can expect more efficiency in the organization, right? And the next is delegation. So we have also discussed about this delegating authority. Okay. Now delegating authority is basically the superior or the senior managers. They can give this their some authority to their subordinates. Okay. Now why? What's the purpose of delegation? Anyone? Why should they delegate the authority? Yes.
Ma'am, to properly distribute the workload and to ensure that if the workload is high, then if there are more channels, so the employees can communicate with their immediate superiors and the higher ups can get the results from them.
See, not exactly, but then we can say somewhat you're right. You can definitely reduce the burden while delegating the authority. So if the marketing manager, he has got a lot of workload, he has to manage his sales team, okay. Now in this case, he can delegate his authority to assistant sales manager, okay. At least now this delegation can be in the form of collecting reports from the sales team, okay, analyzing the reports, okay, and giving them instructions, daily targets, so something like that. Now you can delegate the simple task or the routine task or routine jobs, okay. And when the delegation is given to your junior, to your subordinate, still the authority, still the responsibility is lying with the senior only. The responsibility is not delegated. So whatever the output of the sales team, okay, whatever the sales target they achieve, all the responsibility is of that marketing manager. So that responsibility is not delegated. So you have to understand what can be delegated and what not delegated, and why to delegate, so that now this marketing manager, he can focus more on some strategic aspects, that is expanding the market or designing new marketing tactics. So he can focus on more strategy and policy, and he can think about the future and plan accordingly, okay. So he can give this daily routine task to his junior, to his subordinate. Are you getting this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So delegation. Now here I would like to mention one more aspect, that is centralization and decentralization. Okay, have you heard of it? Centralization and decentralization.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so basically centralization, what can be seen, for example, there is an organization who is working countrywide, the nationwide, okay, like India. Now they have their head office at one place, okay, maybe which is at Mumbai, and then they have their branch offices, or you can say regional offices at the other parts of the country, maybe one at north, one at east, one at south, one at west, like that. So they have their respective offices there. In centralization, the authority is lying with the central office, with the head office, which is located at the Mumbai. Okay, so whatever the decisions, they are taken at Mumbai, and these decisions are communicated to the regional offices or to the branch offices, and these decisions then get implemented, right? Or at local office, maybe at the western office, there is some problem or there is some decision need to be taken, it is asked at the head office, the permission needs to be taken at the head office, and then only they can implement it. Okay, so for all this decision making is there, or the authority is there at the central office, or this at the central authority, and that is why it is called as centralization. Okay, now what can be decentralization then? Yes, what is decentralization?
I'm having the power in more than one place.
Right. Okay. Yes, Aditi.
मैम मैम ऐसे बोल सकते हैं जैसे टॉप मैनेजमेंट कैन बी कंसर्न द टेकिंग मैनेजर डिसीजन
The top management.
दैट्स
What is
कंसर्न टेकिंग मैनेजर डिसीजन
only consultation? You mean to say?
यस मैम या मैम ऐसे भी एक बेसिक फॉर्म ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल स्ट्रक्चर in top management to decision making of responsibility.
See here, what happens actually, the top management or the central authority, they allow these regional officers to take their own decisions. Okay, so for example, what we have just now discussed, the central authority as Mumbai, so they allow the eastern office to take their own decisions for their own branch. Okay, so eastern office, they don't need to contact the head office or the central authority for a decision, or they don't need to take permission to implement any decision in their office, in their area. So they are their own. Okay, so they are their own. All these 4-5 branch offices, regional offices, they are capable of taking their own decisions and implementing their own decisions at their own area, the local areas, right? Earlier, what we see in the centralization, these various offices, they need to take the permission, or they need to take help of central authority, or they have to wait for the decision coming from the central authority to be implemented in their area. So that is what the difference is. Now, if you see, there are advantages as well as disadvantages in both, right? But then what do you see? What is better, whether decentralization or centralization? Yes. What is your
Ma'am,
opinion? Yeah.
ma'am, depends on the organizational goals and the type of organization it is.
Okay. Yeah, that is always there. But what would you prefer? Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Personally, I would prefer a decentralized version.
Yeah. So definitely, as you said, like it depends on the nature of the organization, what the objectives of the organization are, the size of the organization. Okay. and then what type of decisions they need to take. Okay, all these things. But if you see from the overall perspective, decentralization can be more fast. Decision making in a decentralization system can be more fast, more quick, as well as then implementation also can be quicker here, because you don't need to wait for communicating your problem to the central authority, and then central authority coming to the discussion and taking decision, and then that decision will communicate it to the regional office, and then the regional office getting it implemented. So it's a long process, so you can save the time in this process. So what you see is decentralization can be definitely more efficient, okay, as well as in decentralization, the central authority or the central office, again, they can work on more strategic issues. They can focus on more long-term plans, okay. They don't need to take care of all these branches every day. They have already appointed a regional head or the branch head who is looking after the particular branch or the region. So that is how you can make most of it if you use it in the real sense. So that can be a very positive or very good benefit of decentralization. Now, why I talked about this? Because we were discussing the concept of delegation. Now, many times people feel delegation and decentralization can be same. Okay, what do you think? Whether delegation and decentralization is same or different?
Ma'am, I feel decentralization and delegation of work are slightly similar, but on a larger term, you can say that they both are different from each other, because decentralization literally means that transfer of authority, whereas the main authority is letting the lower level take their own decisions for their own unit and function accordingly. Whereas in delegation of work, it is a temporarily basis, just in case if I am absent. So I am appointing someone to do my work on behalf for that particular day. So decentralization is a long term process, whereas delegation of work is temporary thing.
Correct, correct. Absolutely right. Yeah. So definitely delegation, you cannot delegate everything. Okay. You have to very careful while delegation, and only small things, routine jobs, less complex things can be delegated. Again, when you are delegating, the responsibility is with the senior, with that authority only. It doesn't go to the junior to whom you have delegated the authority. Okay, though you have given authority, the responsibility is with the senior only. So that's the big thing here. Okay, whereas if you give in decentralization now, all the regional offices, they are having the authority as well as they are having the responsibility of their own offices, of their own localities, and they are responsible for the achievement of their branches. Okay, so that is how you have to understand the difference. And when you are delegating, you have to be really careful of it. It is not just since you have an authority you delegate it. It should not be the case. Okay, wherever it is necessary, then only you should delegate. Also, you have to make sure that this is a temporary thing, and you are not delegating the responsibility, right? So Ankita, you absolutely said it perfectly. Good. So I hope this is clear so far, class.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So next part is the span of control. Now this also we have discussed, which is again an important principle of organizing. Span of control. What is it? Can somebody tell? Yes, anyone? Yeah, so span of control is how many people under one authority, okay, or under one superior, okay, how many subordinates are there, right? So, for example, if there is a marketing manager and maybe, or maybe a sales manager, you can say, he has, a team of, you can say a sales team under his control or who can work for the sales. So, a sales manager having 5 people, okay, under his control. So that's the span of control. So that sales manager, he can give authority, he can give not authority, he can give orders and instructions to the salespeople so that they can do more sales, okay, and they can complete their target. So he can also give them some target, okay, maybe 20 cars per month if it is in the automobile sector, 5 cars per month, whatever. Okay, so sales manager having 5 people under his control, so that's his span of control. Now there can be 10 people also under his control, there can be 50 people also under his control. Now it depends again on the nature of the organization or the complexity of the activity and the capabilities of that senior. Okay, how many people can be under one control? Okay, so that is how you have to understand this, and while organizing, you have to make sure that the span of control is also effective. Why effective? Because that senior, that sales manager should be able to communicate effectively with his juniors, with his subordinates. If there are too many people, he will not be able to communicate, he will not be able to understand all the sales people, or he will not be able to even check how the sales people are doing if there are too many people under him. Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so you have to see to it that there is an appropriate number of people under one control, and that is how the span of control also is becomes a very important aspect of this organizing. Now while you understand all these aspects, you have to take into account these 5 principles, and accordingly you have to design your organizational structure or organization structure. Okay, so while considering organization structure, what you need to see, okay, so there are various critical factors, that you have to understand while making the such structure or the organization structure. So what are these factors? We have discussed about this, I guess, yesterday. First thing is the nature of the business. Okay, so as you know, the organization structure can vary from business to businesses. Organization structure in a military organization, an organization structure in the educational business or the educational institute, and an organization structure in the manufacturing company. Do you think all of them would be same? Yes. Yeah, what do you think? Organization structure in a military organization, or maybe a government organization, maybe organization structure in the IT company, organization structure in the manufacturing company. What do you think? Can they be same or should they be different?
Ma'am, they should be the same. The organized structure is the same for all the companies. Whether it's a government sector, whether it's a corporate sector, it's the same. The structure is the same. Like we see the nature of the business, then the objectives, and obviously the size of the organization. And then the organization environment, what the environment is there in the organization, whether it's government, whether it's corporate.
Okay, you think it's the same?
Yes, ma'am. I
Okay,
think it's the same.
okay.
Ma'am,
Any other opinion? Yeah.
ma'am, I think
Mhm.
it needs to be different depending upon the kind of the final term goal that an organization has. So for a manufacturing industry unit, their centralization it will be very different the way they share their workload instead of in comparison to maybe an MNC, which will have a very different kind of approach. It will be more specific in its goal, and then the kind of decentralization or delegation of work would be entirely different. So I think it comes by the virtue of industry that we are talking about, that there should be a difference in the structure.
Right. Yeah. Ankita, you want to say something?
Yes, ma'am. Even I feel what Anusha said. I agree to that. The structure of different organizations, when we consider military armed force and that of IT sector and of government sectors, will be different because I also remember in OB's lecture, sir had taught us about the collateral structure and then again coordinate structure. So when I recall all that, I think yes, the structure of the organizations will be different.
Yeah, and further, if you see, the objectives and the business strategy of the business, okay, that also can decide the organization structure, the size of the organization, whether it's a small organization, whether it's a big organization, that also decides the organization structure and most importantly, the organization environment, or you can say the organizational culture. Okay, now all these factors decide the organization structure. If you see nature of the business, so as you say manufacturing company, now here if manufacturing sector or the manufacturing company is considered, you can see mostly automated, what we can say, more of automation. So you don't need to go for lot of creativity, or you don't need to go for discussions because everything is standard there. Okay, and you have to just follow the standardized processes. Okay, so maybe there will be in hierarchy. Okay, it can be a vertical or the or a tall organization structure in which the instructions have to be given by the seniors to the juniors to get the things done. Okay, so you can see can be a different organization structure definitely than what you see in an IT organization. In an IT organization structure, you would see mostly flat organization structure. Okay, or for that matter, if you consider a company like tech companies like Apple or Google, maybe LinkedIn or Facebook. Okay, now these people, their objectives are different. Okay, they want all the time innovation, they want all the time creativity. Okay, so they prefer their people thinking on the problems and coming out with the solution. They encourage innovation and creativity among their employees. Now if the organization environment is rigid, okay, there will be very less creativity. If the organization environment is flexible, there can be more creativity. Okay, and again, more creativity and people can come up with their opinions if they are less stressed out. Okay, so here what is observed that these people are given more authority as well as responsibility, okay, to do their own tasks and to implement their own ideas. What you see such things in these type of organizations, okay, who are innovation oriented. So most of the tech organizations are like that. Whereas, on the contrary to this, if you see government organization or the military organization, you have to follow the orders there. Okay, so definitely the organization structure would be different there, and the organization structure would be different in the other sectors. Do you agree with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so that is why you have to consider all these factors, okay, while designing the organization structure, right? Now on the basis of this, you can go further designing the organization structure. Now I can show you some of the organization structures here. Again, there are various bases for this organization structure. You can consider them uh, on the basis of the various functions, okay, such as marketing, sales, services. So what you see is this functional organization structure, right? So under CEO is having these three important departments, and these departments are taking care of the further activities of their own department, right? Now, the organization structure also can be based on the divisions or regions, as just now we spoke. Okay, so if the organization is of big size, okay, then you can go on further having the division. So commercial division, residential division, or government division, and then under that division you have marketing, sales, services, so the functional departments. Similarly, if it is a countrywide or the nationwide organization, just now we speak, so east, west, north, south, like that, you can make the divisions, and then under that you have marketing, sales, and services department. Okay, so you can decide it as whatever suits your organization best. So see, this is again a geographical structure. Okay, and then you have the structure based on the product, various product categories. Okay, so if the company is having various products, then as per the products also they can design their organization structures. So here is one more example with furnishings as one section, home furniture, footwear, garments, and then they have their own further various departments: production, purchase, marketing, finance, and so on, right? So this is how you can design, or you can come up with various organization structure. This is one which we call as the latest organization structure, what is called as matrix structure. Okay. Now, see, now these organization structures are evolving, and they are just to, fit the organization. Whatever is best fit or best suits your organization, the organization implement those organization structures. So if you see earlier, the organization structures were scalar chain or hierarchy based organization structures, okay, in the olden days or in the old organizations. But if you see now recent organizations, so mostly they will go for this matrix structure. Okay, now what these structures, that also we are going to see, but let me just tell you again about formal and informal organizations. Okay, so what we have just now seen are the formal organization structures. Okay, so product organization or whatever the geographical structure. Now these are all formal organization structures. Yeah. Now, why they are formal? Because they are formally designed. Okay, they are formally designed in order to carry out the organization's goals, in order to attain the organization's objectives. Okay, but then there are some informal organization also, or informal organization structure. Now, what could be these informal organization structure? Anyone?
Ma'am, like you had explained yesterday, maybe the same circle of people who work
Correct.
together could be informally meeting, could be maybe for a a get together or something where even though they are still a part of the organization, but then at that point you don't need to be formal about any work ethics or stuff like that.
Correct, correct. Yeah. So basically, these informal organizations are due to this formal organization. Now, since they are come together in the formal organization, okay, they are having a connect or relationship, okay, with the other staff members, and that is how they build this informal organization structure or informal organization in which they must be doing some activities apart from uh, what they do in the formal organization. For example, in an organization there can be some ladies club who would be doing some activities out of the organization, or which are not the part of their duties, right? Or maybe there can be some sports club who are the sports lovers, okay? They may be forming their own groups informally, and then they may be playing matches or maybe playing games whenever they have free time. Okay, so like that, they can form their own groups, and then they can form their own, they form their own organization as informal organization. Okay, now these organization, informal organizations, why should we understand? What's the significance of this informal organization? Are they of any help to the formal organization? What do you think? Yes? Okay, you can think about it and you can let me know the answer next class. Okay, so as I just now discussed this, we are mostly now studying formal organizations. Okay, and whatever the structures that we are seeing are the part of this formal organization structure. Okay, so again, one more important type of organization structure that we need to study is line organization and staff organization, or line and staff organization. Have you heard of this before? Line organization. Anyone? Or can somebody read this? Line organization. Is it visible to you, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So can somebody read this?
Line organization is the most oldest and simplest method of administrative organization. According to this type of organization, the authority flows from top to bottom in a concern. The line of command is carried out from top to bottom. This is the reason for calling this organization as scalar organization, which means scalar chain of command is a part and parcel of this type of administrative organization. In this type of organization, the line of command flows on an even basis without any gaps in communication, and coordination takes place.
Very good. Okay. So this is what we generally see, okay, in an organization. CEO, under the CEO, if you see uh, the production head or the production manager and the marketing manager. Again, if you see production manager, he has his own subordinates, and then they supervising some workers. Okay, so what you see is now these workers reporting to the foreman fabrication. This foreman fabrication is reporting to the production manager, and this production manager reporting to CEO. Okay, so this is what we call as the scalar chain, or the line of command, or the line of authority, or what you see he is reporting and authority relationship, which is in one line. Okay, and that is why it is called as line organization structure. Do you understand this? Similarly, if you see here, the in the marketing department, so salesperson reporting to the sales officer reporting to the marketing manager reporting to CEO. So it again goes in one line. Okay, so that is what it is called as line structure, or the scalar chain, or the this is how the hierarchy goes. Okay, so this is line organized which we usually see, and which is most organizations they follow. But then what is line and staff organization? Anyone? Have you heard of it? Yeah. So line and staff organization, wherein there are some staff people, there are some people who are there to assist this line managers. Okay, for example, here is a production manager. A production manager is given a supporting staff or an advisory member. Maybe he's of R&D or of quality control. Okay, so here the production manager takes help of quality control manager or an R&D manager, okay, in order to make his job more effective. Okay, similarly, a marketing manager may get support from a data manager or data analytics a team or data analytics manager in order to understand what the demand is, or how the demand forecasting can be done, or what could be the projections, or how the sales is going on. And depending on whole data analytics, he can take the decision of the marketing strategy, okay, for his company. So that is how there is some support, okay, from the experts, okay, that can be possible if you appoint such staff. Okay, and with that expert staff, it becomes more easy, or at times it becomes important, okay, for this manager to take the help in some critical decision making. So such staff when appointed in the organization, okay, it becomes the line and staff organization. So what you see, our own Indian system, okay, so we have the president, prime minister, chief ministers, right, for the states. Now what you see is here, these ministers, they have secretaries and they have advisory councils, okay, or advisory experts, okay. Mostly what you see, the bureaucrats are there, to assist them or to give them the expert suggestions, expert opinions, okay, on very important critical issues. So if you see, maybe he's a defense minister. So defense minister may not, you cannot expect them to know all the defense things. So what is there? So the defense expert, okay, who has the knowledge about all those things, can help defense minister to take decisions. Okay, similarly, finance minister has got some finance secretary who are, or maybe the experts from the RBI governor or somebody like that. Such people, they are appointed for the finance minister. Even you can say same thing goes with the prime minister. Prime minister also has got lot of advisory members and experts and the secretaries who help them to take decision. So what you see, these prime minister, ministers, chief ministers, they are the people with authority. Okay, so they are the people in this line organization. But then they have this staff. Now these staff, they don't have authority as such, but then they have expertise in their own field, which they give to this line people, the authority people, whenever is needed. Or the line people can take their expert services whenever they want. Okay, so that is how line and staff organization structure. Are you getting this, students? So here is also one more example of that. You can just see this. Okay, so here what you see is MD of organization having various directors. Okay, and this director production has got GM production under him, manager works under him, foreman, workers. So the line, this is the line organization that you see. Workers reporting foreman, reporting manager works reporting GM production, and so on. But here GM production also has some staff, okay, that is GM quality control. Okay, so whenever he wants to have some opinions regarding quality control, so there is a GM expert, GM who is expert of quality control. Okay, similarly, you can find that sometimes the staff has authority also. Okay, depending on the nature of the organization. So here, if it is a quality control GM, he would definitely expect that his production department and production manager also follows all the quality control norms. Okay, and if it is not up to the quality, okay, they can definitely take action. So definitely you will find here this GM quality control also has authority. Okay, so this is how staff organization structure, or you can see line and staff organization structure can be also a best structure for some type of organizations. Are you following the students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
now,
ma'am.
so again, as you go on increasing the number of activities, and according to that, if you go on increasing number of people, recruiting more people, the organizational structures become more complex. Okay, and that is what you see in this matrix organization structure. Okay, so what is this matrix organization structure here? One person, he may have two bosses. Okay, so if you see this matrix structure in which these are the three different functions: marketing, sales, and services, as well as three different divisions. Okay, now electronics division also need marketing people. Okay, they also need sales people and services people. Same it goes with the home goods division, they also need marketing people. Snack division, they also need marketing people. Now here marketing department allocates marketing people to these three divisions. Okay, now as per the requirement, as per the skills, as per the capabilities, they allocate their marketing people to any of these divisions. So this can be also temporary as per the requirement, okay, or maybe for long term. But mostly in matrix structure, they are the temporary allocations, okay, as per the needs. So what you see here, the marketing manager, he has to also report to the marketing head, okay, or whatever the VP marketing or whoever is, as well as he also need to report to the manager of electronics division, okay, for his daily reporting, because he has been assigned under him for this project. Okay, so what you find is there are two bosses, and then you can expect there are two orders also sometimes, two different instructions also sometimes. Okay, but then definitely, this can be also helpful, because now there is quite a possibility of various types of people. You come and you meet and you try to take help of all other people also in the organization, okay, who can collaborate and can work more efficiently. Okay, so that is what the matrix organization structure nowadays, which is more popular. Okay, but as you see, it depends on again how efficiently you can uh, use this, how effectively you can use this. So definitely depends on the nature and the people of the organization. All right. So these are all the various types of organization structure. There is nothing as called as the best organization structure. You have to find it out what suits best to your organization. Okay, definitely small organizations, startups, they won't have this matrix organization structure. Okay, as the organizations they go grow and they become bigger, you would require such type of complex organization structures, but not for the small organization structures, like a line organization, or such type of simple organized structures are there in the small newly launched businesses. as your organization grow bigger, you will find these various different types of structures, right? So I hope you're following this, students. Any
Yes,
questions? Yeah, any questions? Is this clear? All right, so should we stop here today? Yeah, fine. So we will continue again tomorrow. Okay. So I'm closing today's session.